You're listening to a Frequency Podcast Network production.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
This is the Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Welcome to Thursday. My name is Brock.
I'm Dalby.
The boys are officially back from vacation.
Yeah. Hopefully you enjoyed the couple of bonus podcasts that we left you before Brock headed off to Ohio, which you went to the thing. I saw your pictures. I saw your videos. That means you got across the border. I know that you were talking about being a little bit nervous on our bonus podcast.
I do need to correct something. My buddy Derek does not have the breathalyzer in his car anymore.
I was wondering, because I'm like, he's going to listen to the podcast. I hope you're getting it right.
He reassured me that he no longer has the breathalyzer in his car.
Right on. Good job, bud.
Did not drive at all, though. I drove the whole way.
Not even a stretch?
Not a stretch at all. I also don't mind that. I like being the road dog in the car.
I was going to say, whose decision was that?
But you know what? Going through the border,
Yeah.
easy as pie, man, honestly.
Dude, I think I figured it out, because we also did just a little trip across the border to go do a little bit of summer clothes shopping. And I had two of the most delightful border crossing experiences.
Oh, mine weren't delightful.
Oh, okay.
No, the guy was a dick.
I put on a little bit of the charm with both of my going into the States and coming back into Canada. You know what the key was? I went and ate at Sonic, the drive-in place down in the States, and it ruined my stomach. And my son told the Canadian border crossing guard all about Dad had diarrhea from Sonic. She couldn't have been more in a hurry to get me across the border.
See, usually they don't really fuck around. Like, I get no personality out of these people. Like, when we crossed at the Rainbow Bridge at Niagara Falls there.
Okay.
And when we went through, the guy's just like, where are you going? He didn't even look at us either. He was like, head forward, took our passports. He's like, where are you going? We're like, Columbus. What for? We're like, music festival. He sat for literally 2 minutes looking at his computer.
Silent.
And me and my buddy are like, shit.
Uh-oh.
And then all of a sudden he's like, all right, get out of here.
You can go.
He literally said, get out of here.
I mean, that's fair, though. When someone says, where are you going, and you say Columbus, what for is the right answer, is the next question to ask.
And then on the way back in, I feel like coming back into Canada, usually, at least from my experience, they're usually more stern, actually, than they are at the U.S. border.
Fully agree. I've had way more positive conversations going into the States. Coming back into Canada, they're like, what did you do?
Yeah, what did you do? What do you bring in? The guy was the same thing. He's like, where'd you go? We're like, Columbus. He's like, why? We were like, music festival. And then he's like, what kind of music? And I'm like, I don't know, like metal, punk, hardcore and stuff. And he goes, got anything to declare? And we're like, no, I just thought I'd make a joke. I was like, just this bag of chips. And he goes, what kind are they?
Oh, no.
And then I was like, the Cool Ranch. And he's like, get out of here. And I was like, fuck. But that's got to be a fun job to mess with people, honestly.
You can really, if you're bored sitting in that booth, you just look a person in the eyes and you can go, yeah, I can have some fun with this person.
It's almost like being a cop, just like driving behind people. Like, they're tripping out.
It's Super Troopers, where they're doing all the pranks and stuff and the people they're pulling over.
Yeah.
That's every day at the border, 100%.
You could literally, I would love to just be a Border Patrol person, like on shift change, just looking at all the cars in line. Just stop and tilt your sunglasses at someone and shake your head.
As you're walking to the booth to take over that shift, you find someone in your line and just give them the old point at your eyes, point at them. I'll see you when you get here.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I think I might have to announce my mosh retirement. I'm not going to lie, dude.
Wow.
At 29 years old, like turning 30 next year. Dude, I'm banged up, bro.
Which band got you the worst?
All of them.
All of them?
All of them. Like all the metal and hardcore bands I like I was just getting rocked in there. I feel like an old veteran coming back from war right now. It was sick, though. There was all age ranges of people there. I will say it was very weird. There was like a lot of babies at the festival. And like I'm not talking like kids. I'm talking there was literally people with babies,
actual infants
at the festival.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, like I've seen people bring their babies to a concert before, but a festival is a whole different ball game.
Well, it's if nothing else, it's the length, right? Concert, you can bring a baby, I guess, for a few songs to your favorite band because you don't want to miss them. They don't come through town, but like a whole day outside in the sun with music and blaring noise and people running around like crazy.
I'll put it in perspective. We were like in the pit for Limp Bizkit. On the outskirts of the pit was a dude.
No.
With like not a newborn, but like still a baby, a toddler, whatever you want to call it, with the headphones on and everything. The best was just seeing people standing there, and it's like, that kid doesn't want to be here.
No.
Like, there's certain age ranges of kids where maybe they're like 9, 10, you got them into the music. Sure. That baby don't know anything, man.
That baby never listened to $3 Bill. He don't know.
People holding babies while watching Pantera. Your kid's listening to Walk before they even know how to walk, dude. Like, I thought that was so funny.
Especially standing on the edge of the pit. Imagine you're there and you're watching Pantera and you are just over the moon excited and you're in and you're dancing and you're flailing and all of a sudden you feel contact with like the edge of your hand as you got to the edge of the pit circle. Hey, these things happen. These people know where they're standing. But then you realize that you just smoked a baby.
Yeah.
Like, what an awful feeling that would be.
And the only funny thing would be if that baby's first word was like, respect. Like you're sitting there and the baby's like, oh my God, he's going to say something. Respect. What do you say? I don't know about you guys, but I feel like bringing babies to a festival is a no-no.
It's tough, man. Like, as a single parent, I know what it's like to miss out on things because you can't just abandon your children and you can't bring your children everywhere you're going. But mine are 7 and 9, not 6 months, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes that first year, you're kind of on lockdown. There's not a lot of places you can go with a baby.
I'll say this. I don't think they had to pay for an extra wristband. I didn't see any wristbands on the baby. Which that also kind of pissed me off a little bit. I'm like, hey, man, I paid like $400 to be here.
Why does this baby get to see Limp Bizkit for free?
Yeah.
What's going on here?
Yeah, how do I know this isn't a baby in disguise? What's that movie? Like Marlon Wayans pretends to be the baby. Yeah. You know what I'm talking about? Someone just texted in, kids have been at festivals since Woodstock. Yeah, for sure, but like, should they be there? I don't think so.
I think that sentence answers the question in of itself. Because what do we know about Woodstock? It's drugs and it's booze and it's fights. And you're like, yeah, kid's been there. That doesn't sound great.
Unless it's like a dare field trip or something, then...
Classic kids in the corner of the field just looking out and being like, see, kids?
Yeah.
Does this look like fun to you?
Yeah, it's the fine line between cool and like bad parenting.
Yeah,
you know?
I think, again, standing on the edge of the mosh pit with a baby Bjorn on, it's just kind of like... It's not a hard look, you know what I mean? You're
Open
not tough.
This pit up. 762-555. What do you think? Should babies be allowed at concerts? Or would you, if you're a parent, would you bring a baby to a concert in general?
I'll read Ashley's text here because I think this is perfect. It's as a parent, I get it, but as a parent, I don't want to see your kids when I go out.
I like the text that said kids should be made at festivals, not brought to them. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Is it wrong to bring a baby to a concert? Now, some people are saying, depending on the show, of course, if it's the Wiggles or something, that's okay. But
well, if it's designed for children, if Miss Rachel's coming to town, or Bluey on Ice, like, yeah, take your kids. That's what it's for.
But maybe not to Slayer, you know?
You're literally in Ohio watching Pantera 2.0 and Limp Bizkit, all these other bands that are not, the target audience is not toddlers.
Yeah. I'm here to hear screams, but not your babies. We got a good friend of the show, Ashley, on the phone. Ashley, what do you think of people bringing babies to concerts?
When I go out, I don't want to see other people's kids. And I don't even know why people would want to bring their kids. Like, you have to miss out on everything going on, to pay attention to your kid. You're not dancing around. You're not drinking.
Hopefully.
Yeah, hopefully, yes.
Now, with that being said, as a parent, what are some other places you think you shouldn't bring your baby?
not to a busy grocery store, anywhere where you have to wait in line for a long period of time. Pretty much anywhere where there's a lot of people and you can't just escape quickly.
Service Ontario.
Yo, you know what?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the spot. We're already all bummed out. Nobody's here having a good time. We are locked in for some undetermined period of time. If your baby starts making even a single noise, I'm sorry, even as a dad, I'm gonna be like, come on.
Could be a smart move to try and clear out the line, though.
Do you think that works? Do
No.
you think the person at Service Ontario looks at your screaming baby and goes, all right, just get up here?
No. I was saying, like, you might make other people just leave. I would probably leave if I was sitting there for a half an hour and somebody's baby started crying.
You walk in, there's like 6 people in front of you. You just start giving your baby those little leg pinches just to get a little noise action going.
Someone just texted in and said, how do you guys feel about people bringing their babies to the bar?
Are people doing that? I never brought, well,
I see, that depends. Are we talking like Boston Pizza? Boston Pizza is like one thing, but if
that's just it.
If it's like midnight and you're at the old watering hole,
Yeah.
I don't know.
I used to host football games at a sports bar back out in the prairies. And sometimes my wife would come out with our baby to sit at the table because we could have some food. It was like 6 p.m. We're watching football, whatever. But yeah, I think like after like 7, 8 o'clock when the drinks are really starting to flow and the lights are getting a little more dim, nobody's having fun if there's a baby in the corner.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about? Like, no, take that baby home.
Movie theaters?
You know what? They have a lot of movie theaters have specific midday, mid-afternoon showings specifically for parents to bring their kids. The understanding being, you can come watch this movie. There's going to be some screaming and crying. I'm for that.
I think the movie theaters is kind of like concerts and the bar, which is like, hey, if you want to go out and do things, get a babysitter.
That's just it.
You know?
If your kid's not old enough to go with a parent or a babysitter, then unfortunately, and I speak as a parent, you got to stay home.
Yeah.
You got to stay home.
It's too expensive for my movie to be ruined by your baby.
That's just it.
You got Netflix at home, dude.
This is not the place. This is not the moment.
Someone just texted in and said, what about bringing babies to the gym?
Who's doing that? What is the baby gonna spot you? Don't take the baby to the gym.
You need to get your gains with the baby? Is that it? Like,
stay at home and lift the baby.
Yeah.
Do some little baby curls.
do baby workouts.
Pick the baby up over your head. Do some presses. There's lots of baby fitness that you can do.
Yeah.
Don't take a baby to the gym.
Don't bring your stress to the place where we're supposed to relieve our stress, all right?
Imagine you're on the bench. You're about to do a bench press, and all of a sudden you just hear, no, take your baby home. Take your damn baby home. Do not bring your baby to the gym.
That should set off the lunk alarm.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
We had a funeral up north this past weekend actually, and there was quite a bit of people there. I didn't even know there was a baby there until about halfway through, and then you could hear her start crying a bit, and then it just started wailing, and they didn't do anything. They just stayed in the funeral, just left it like that.
They're like, if everybody else is crying, it's kind of fitting. Is that what they went with?
That makes it work.
You know what? Yeah, bringing a baby to a funeral is kind of weird, eh?
Maybe you have to, but if they start wailing like that, maybe step out for a minute.
Yeah, I think I can be convinced that you can bring a baby to a funeral because it is such an important, like a momentous, emotional occasion. But I think it's very similar to a wedding. If you're sitting in the crowd at a wedding or a funeral and your baby starts to cry, you gotta get out. You gotta go away until it stops.
Is it rude of me to say that the baby shouldn't be there because, let's get real, the baby probably didn't know that person? Am I wrong by saying that?
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
Got Brother Jay on the phone. Dude, what movie do you think would make a great theme park?
Mad Max.
Ooh.
I think that would be a freaking awesome theme park. Flamethrowers, guns, cars, bombs.
All right, so we're not bringing the kids to Mad Max.
No. This is somewhere you don't bring your baby.
It just sounds like a war zone. I'm not gonna.
Yeah. A little bit.
This is like one of those places you go to in Vegas when you just want to go fire a machine gun.
Exactly.
Oh, think about it now. A Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas theme park.
Ooh, definitely another adults only one, but you could do some fun stuff at a Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
It's basically like Burning Man, just without all the hippies dancing around. Yeah.
Oh, man, you'd have so many like funhouse mirrors and stuff like that in every corridor that you're walking down.
A permanent cigarette in your mouth the whole time.
Well, they give that to you as you walk in, right? They give you the smoke holder, and it's just, in modern society, it's not actually a cigarette, but it does just smoke the whole time.
You're basically just on an endless car ride. And then you realize you've just been sitting in an Arby's parking lot on acid for 4 hours. Is what it is.
Someone texted in, what about the John Wick dog park?
As long as they're alive. As long as they all stay alive, then I like that.
At no point, if anything should happen to a dog, it has to be one of those like animatronic, like robots. It can't happen to a real dog.
Yeah.
Because I'll be sad.
No, even an animatronic one, I'd cry, dude. That's too sad for me.
Somebody said Dexter. That's the serial killer, right? What do you do in a Dexter theme park?
I mean, I think you already answered your own question on that one.
Some of you are snitching on yourselves with your answers to this question.
I mean, with horror movies, is that basically just haunted houses? Because I was going to say like a Halloween where you escape Michael Myers could be kind of cool. A Friday the 13th where you're at Camp Crystal Lake kind of thing.
I mean, I think you can have like you remember the Simpsons theme park at Universal a bunch of years ago? They had the roller coaster where you were like interacting with Simpsons images and characters and stuff like that. But then they also had a Quickie Mart, and they had Duff, and they had all these other things. So like the Camp Crystal Lake, you could have some sort of interactive thing where you're running away.
The interactive game is you try and have sex before getting murdered.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah.
And then, but also then you could have like the cafeteria at Camp Crystal Lake where you would go with the family and get some food, and you could have a little gift shop and stuff like that.
You go swimming in the water, and there's a creepy kid just like grabbing people's legs.
Oh, it's a water park, and then you also try not to die.
Yeah.
What a fun day. Oh, dude, Trailer Park Boys. Someone texted in Trailer Park Boys.
Trailer Park Boys would be awesome. All you have to do is open up a trailer park out in the Maritimes somewhere.
And you're done.
Have a buttload of weed and a hash driveway. You're good to go.
Imagine getting hired for that, like the way people get hired at Disney to play the characters and stuff like that.
Oh, dude, there's one ride where you just try and go through and not get smoked by the bottle kids.
That's what I was saying. Imagine being hired to be bottle kids.
Yeah.
Your job is just like, hey, every 20-25 minutes or so, just run out and whip bottles at people.
To be go-kart races and stuff.
Dude, driving around in the doorless car.
Finding shopping carts.
Shopping cart bumper cars.
Yes.
At the Trailer Park Boys theme park.
Yes.
We need to get J-Rock on the phone. We've got ideas.
Could be like a murder mystery thing where you have to try and lie to the cops every time they show up, and who can come up with the best excuse.
Yeah, and then if you come up with a good excuse, like whoever's playing, what is the cop's name? George?
George Green.
George Green.
Yeah.
If you can convince George Green that you're innocent, they give you like a little token or something.
All they sell there is Zesty Morton and dressed all over chips. And every drink comes in a cut-off 2-liter. That's it. Yes.
With this has got money all over it.
Trailer Park Boys land needs to happen, dude.
We need to start this. Somebody get Randy Bobandy on the phone.
This is the Brock and Delby Podcast.
I don't know if you've seen the photos going around on the internet. Eminem's daughter recently got married, I guess, this past weekend.
Why does Eminem look like she owes him money?
I don't know if it's her that he's mad at or if it's her husband.
He's not having a good time.
If you haven't seen these photos, they're hilarious, but also like the worst wedding photos. He just looks pissed the entire time.
Also, I don't know if you remember, because I know you're not a big fan of The Office, but that episode where the old guy used the printer toner to dye his hair black. It also looks like Eminem may have done that.
Eminem is officially a Just for Men commercial right now. Like his hair is not jet black like that. Like,
It's like I got kids, right? And my kids are years and years and years away from being married. But like I've thought about how cool it'll be maybe to one day stand at the church or wherever and watch my kids get married to someone that they love. And at no point when I pictured that future did I picture myself looking that sour.
well, and Eminem's one of those guys that, like, he's got that resting face, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he feels like he could look right through you.
Dude, he's so aggressive.
There's
just with
not
his
one
face.
photo that I've seen of him cracking, like, even just a wince of a smile.
Right. There's no, like, because with Candid, like, maybe for the posing photos, he's trying to look hard. I heard he's got maybe a new album coming, right?
So
maybe he's trying
there's
to
a
look
time and
tough.
place to look hard, though, you know?
But not even the Candid photos, not one person accidentally got a picture of Eminem smiling at his daughter's wedding.
It reminds me of when I had my prom and every guy thought they couldn't smile with their date in the photo and they
Trying
had
to
to
look
look
tough.
hard AF.
Trying to look tough.
Dude, even just in general, like, if Eminem was your father-in-law, that's a tough guy to have.
Absolutely, man. You're sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table looking across at that dude just double barrel eyeing you.
Well, like, it could be cool, like, especially if you were an Eminem fan, but, like, if you're also an Eminem fan, you know how much smack he talked about his own mother.
Yeah.
And his ex-wife. Like, dude, you better hope you don't cross his daughter.
Well, and like you're not going to get into an argument. Like he talks so fast and he's got.
Oh my
such-
God, if you got into an argument with him, he'd be like,
You're just like, all right, I'm just going to go sit in the car. I'm sorry.
and another thing, you'd have a whole diss record about you like that.
100%. Yeah, absolutely. You don't want that smoke. So you just kind of got to play it cool. If you get on his good side, which I'm still not convinced there is one.
You don't want to get on the Slim Shady side.
That's just it. Yeah, exactly. There's a good life and a bad life to having Eminem as your father.
I don't know if you've ever seen 22 Jump Street where Jonah Hill ends up hooking up with Ice Cube's daughter. That's how I imagine Eminem being as a father-in-law. Dude, honestly, even Ice Cube would be a terrifying father-in-law.
I was just going to say, if I'm being honest, I'm way more scared of Ice Cube because the thing about Eminem is he's a very talented lyricist and he carries himself very angry and very aggressive. But he's also not a big dude. Like, I do feel like if push came to shove, I could probably take Eminem.
Sure.
Ice Cube beats the hell out of me. That dude's been through some things.
762-555. Who would be the worst father-in-law to have?
Oh my God, there's just so many. Like, moving outside of like the music industry, I'm just trying to think. Like anybody who's in a sport, I think would be tough because, I mean, obviously there's the obvious ones like the boxers, the MMA fighters, like Conor McGregor.
Oh my God! Imagine Conor McGregor.
Right, like any of these guys that have
Mike
been around.
Tyson.
Mike Tyson would be horrifying.
Mike Tyson would be terrifying because you hear that little voice coming for you there. and-
I'll tell you right now. If I meet a girl, fall in love, this is the greatest relationship that I have ever been in. And then I find out her dad is Mike Tyson. Hey, hearty handshake. We had a great run. I can't.
I'd just be wearing
can't.
at least earmuffs around the guy at all times.
That's only going to make him angry. Now he's going to punch you in the face. He's going to think you're making fun of him.
Someone just texted in Clint Eastwood. Clint Eastwood would just be like scowling at you the whole time.
That's just it. Clint Eastwood, like 20, 30 years ago, maybe.
Sure.
Clint Eastwood now can barely stand up. I'm not that worried about Clint Eastwood right now.
Samuel L. Jackson would be another one, actually.
Samuel L. Jackson is tough because I find him so entertaining when he gets angry.
I don't think you would, though.
I think if he started yelling at me, I would be like, yeah, keep going.
He'd be like, I am tired of you not paying the bills for my daughter's house.
Tell me to say what again? Tell me to say what again?
I'd be scared to say what around that man.
I don't think he'll actually hit you. I think he's just a yeller.
The Brock and Dobby Podcast.
We got friend of the show, Matt, on the phone. Who do you think would make the worst father-in-law, or at least the scariest father-in-law?
I think that Putin would be that worst father-in-law to have.
Vladimir Putin?
From Russia?
Yeah. A Russian president. I'd be afraid to eat anything he offered.
That's just it, man. I bet he has looked people in the eye and smiled while having them killed before.
Valid point. Valid point. But then again, I mean, once you're in, it's kind of like Olive Garden. Like when you're there, you're family, you know?
Perhaps, but still, I'd be worried. I'd be watching my back all the way.
I feel like I would be more worried if the girl that I'm dating, Vladimir Putin, was her ex, you know?
Yo.
I feel like that's the worst predicament to be in.
If you find out your girl used to date Vladimir Putin and it didn't end well, you gotta break up with her.
Yeah.
You gotta break up with her and send him an apology letter. That's how you do it.
Absolutely. I'd be just as worried if I was dating Putin's daughter.
Right. And I feel like with every text that we got about a father-in-law, put that as the girl that you're dating's ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
That makes it 10 times worse, dude.
Well, some of these are like just to go back to the original topic of Eminem. Eminem as the father-in-law, maybe a little bit nervously, a little bit off-putting. Eminem is the ex. I'm not really that worried about, like, what's he going to write a diss track about me? I'm not going to see him. And now there's a hit song about me. I feel proud.
I think it would. I think it's a little worse than you'd think, man. Like, if who's your favorite band?
Tool.
Okay,
Yeah.
so Maynard James Keenan dated your current girlfriend. That ruins Tool a little bit for you now.
Yeah. No, you're right.
Because you get the inside baseball scoop and you're like, oh, yeah, he's kind of a piece of garbage, this
Right.
and that. And then you'd never be able to look at them ever. It'd be like if you found out your current girlfriend used to date Kevin Hart or Dwayne The Rock Johnson, you'd never be able to watch TV again. Like,
yeah, you're right. It would be tough. Like if I'm sitting there with my girlfriend and we're watching the roast of Tom Brady and Kevin Hart's the host, and she's like, "Oh, Kevin." I'm like, "How do you know?" Well, we used to,
You'd never find him funny ever
You
again.
turn the TV off. Like,
Yeah.
You know what? This isn't that funny.
It
Why
would
don't we
suck
watch something
so
else?
bad, dude.
Yeah, you're right.
It would suck so bad.
You're right. That would definitely take things
And
away
then just
from
with
me.
like bands and stuff, dude, like they'd give you the down low on songs and you'd be like, ugh. Oh, this one, or if you found out the song was written about them, you'd be like, oh man, that's my favorite song, dude.
Oh, I couldn't do that. I could never do that. If I found out that my girlfriend had a song written about her, I couldn't listen to it.
Yeah.
No chance.
Well, dude, it'd be like if I found out Courtney used to date Austin Matthews. That'd be such a weird, like, thing.
I'm gonna say.
I don't know how I'd feel about it.
What do you
Like,
do?
are you supposed to cheer on the guy that used to hook up with your girlfriend? Like,
Do you wear his jersey?
I feel like she'd probably say no.
Well, I think. Does she wear his jersey?
Does she have a hookup for autographs is the real question.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
The Brock and Dalby Podcast.
I was out at that Sonic Temple Festival. It was absolutely crazy. I feel like my voice is still kind of a little bit gone there.
Looked amazing.
Oh, dude, it was crazy. I saw so many. It's basically a big metal festival.
Right.
And I love like metalcore, hardcore, all that kind of stuff. And if you like any of that kind of music, you do know that there's a certain things that these like metalcore bands like to do. Before there's a breakdown, they'll rip a good It's kind of like the big trend. I guess the trend with the up and coming bands, I saw a lot of like new kind of hardcore bands and stuff like that.
Okay.
The new trend is to kind of like do it to a dog bark.
They're not.
Yeah, there's this band, I think it's a Kubla Khan that I saw there, and they're kind of just like doing a DMX thing, I guess. Is that what it is?
It sounds like a really metal. You remember that old toy that would spin, and when it would land on an animal, it would make their dog noise?
Yeah, dude. They did it in like 5 different songs. It got the crowd hyped up. That's my video. You can hear people screaming in the background.
Do you think that was just like they were like, hey, why don't we try something new? Or was this guy just not able to bleh?
Oh, no. It's not just them. There's like 4 other bands are doing the arf, arf,
Oh,
arf.
this is the trend.
I think it's like the new thing for the upcoming like scene or whatever. They're
new
ditching the
hotness.
bleh and they're doing the arf now. Like,
Do you think, will that be like a cutoff? Like if a band comes out and bleh? Like, oh, God, that's so 2012.
showing your age kind of thing.
Yeah.
Maybe.
We don't bleh anymore. We, arf.
I like the arfs, but I guess I am set in my ways where I think I do like a good old
Yeah.
A little bit better there.
Listen, that's tradition, right? And I'm not saying music can evolve over time. Obviously, things are going to change,
Yeah.
but it was for a long time.
I blah over ARF any day of the week.
100%. Yeah, not that I'm good at either, but I would definitely.
I've always just liked it because, yeah, any sort of where there's like a lull point in the song, that's when the black comes in. And I wish that we could sneak that into like our everyday life, you know?
Yo, when you're just like having a conversation with somebody, it gets a little quiet, a little awkward.
Just rip it. It's kind of like, it's the same thing like when you walk into like a bunch of those gnats that are flying around in the sidewalk. We all do it automatically.
Oh, yeah. I also like the idea of doing it to try and like punch up a conversation. We've all been in that staff meeting where it's like everybody has said what they have to say, but nobody wants to be the one person that's like, all right, well, this was great. Let's get up and let's move on with our day. Instead, just like when the lull comes, stand up while you're doing it.
How amazing would it be to be at church on a Sunday and hear the body of Christ?
Brother, that's how you get exercised, all right? I don't think that's gonna work out the way you want it to.
If me and Courtney ever get married and the guy goes, I now pronounce you man and wife.
No. Does anybody in the church have anything to say? Speak now or forever hold your peace. And then one of your boys from the back's gonna.
They better bled. They better not.
For more Brock and Dalby, tune in weekday mornings 5:30 to 9.
The Brock and Dalby podcast is brought to you by badshop.ca, the Brock and Dalby merch store. With all proceeds going to the Canadian Cancer Society.